All right, this is a weird one, but I don't care. It's something that I'm interested in. Last night, we were watching The Wire. I was consumed a little bit of cannabis, so I was in my own zone. And I've had this not idea, this kind of concept and thing I've been playing with of primal movements and doing things more in line with how our ancestors used to do. And it's kind of a growing thing. You may have seen it in the whole self improvement biohacking shit. But I was thinking how, like, for me, look at my upper body. I'm long and lanky, right? My legs, however, you can't see them. Well, they don't look that big there either, but they're not bad. My legs are decent. I have relatively muscular legs, and my thought is that, like, you're using your legs all the time. I'm walking around, I'm standing up, you bend over, you're doing stuff. So your legs are getting kind of muscle tension all the time. Whereas the upper body, I'm at a damn keyboard clicking and stuff. So I ain't doing much with upper body. So my thought was, I was on the floor, a little high, watching The Wire. It's like, what if you just kind of used your arms more, like I'm gonna sound insane, but like a gorilla. If you play with the idea, or you believe in any sort of idea of evolution, the ideas that we did, sorry to say, possibly come from monkeys, in that their movement patterns are, while they're not super natural anymore, that those are kind of where these muscles and joint movements have come from, is being able to swing, like in monkey bars, to retract the scapula and to keep it locked back, and being able to swing, and then that can and create the scapula in a more stable position and keep your shoulders in the right spot. And then on the front side, by doing the gorilla walk, you can strengthen, and you're using a lot of your chest and shoulders and triceps much more often than we do in daily life. So you can kind of get them used to being used more the way that our legs are used more in daily life. So to show you my insanity and what I'm suggesting, it's kind of like moving in a low deep squat, the core exercises, hips and ankles. Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, like this kind of idea. It looks, you look insane, but it's been a growing thing in the exercise world of getting in this kind of gorilla position. And it improves mobility. It's a mixture of showing people and the gorillas. But the idea is that using your whole body this way kind of uses your muscles the way they've been constructed. Because if you think about it, we were grown, we have evolved to look like this. This isn't an accident, it is evolutionary based on the circumstances in the previous living organisms to how we get today. Like, there's a reason our scapula is the way it is. It's the reason why we have a ball and socket shoulder that can go in all direction. There are reasons based on our past that give us this particular skeleton, and the idea is we're not using it the way we should. Now, last night I did, like an idiot. My wife didn't even question it. She knows better at this point to ask what I'm doing on the floor. I do yoga a lot when we're watching TV, so she knows better than to even question my insanity. But I was doing it, right? The kind of primal gorilla, where I was walking on using my elbows and all my fists to kind of move around in the space, right? And for whatever reason, when I went to bed, usually when I like lift overhead, my shoulders are popping. They pop like crazy. Click, 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 all the way around. It didn't happen nearly as, like, my shoulders felt so much better after doing that, and I don't know why. I'm wondering if it has something to do with that movement, and that's what I'm going to look up today. I don't know the outcome of this. I could be totally wrong, could be placebo, but I am curious. So let us ask good old Googlebox. Last night, I did kind of gorilla walks, primal movement, where I was on my floor, using my fists and my elbows to kind of stay upright and move forward in like a crawling gorilla walk way, period. Now, after that, going about my nightly routine, like lifting my head, hands above my head to adjust my pillow and such, my shoulders felt so much more stable. They weren't popping nearly as much last night after doing this movement. And I'm curious, is there a reason for this? Is that kind of movement good for the shoulders? Like, what led to this comfy feeling in my shoulders, or is this simply placebo? Let's see what this says. Moving, closed chain, reset for noisy shoulders. Moving like a gorilla forces your shoulders to act as weight-bearing pillars rather than just swinging levers, just, like this, which physically seats the joint and quiets the clicking. So it does have something to do with it. Closed kinetic chain magic. By fixing your hands to the floor, you engage in closed chain movement, which triggers co-contraction, where all the tiny stabilizer muscles around the rotator cuff fire simultaneously to keep the joint centered. The scapular glue. Exercises like gorilla walks and bear crawls are elite for the serratus anterior, the boxing muscle. That's this muscle under here. So like when you are, God damn it, I'm trying to get into there. So when you're like right here and you push forward, you're working this under muscle right here. And this is why they say it's the boxing muscle, because when you jab or when you box, you're engaging that serratus. And just to show you real quickly of where the serratus is, not that it fucking matters, but I'm a nerd and just want to see it myself. So the serratus, yeah, that under shit, that thing under the kind of the rib cage area on the sides here. Yep, right here. Yeah, and it's something that's often neglected. So doing these kind of movements get you to use your upper body more, and so you use all those muscles so that when you do push-ups or you do pushes, you're engaging all the right muscles involved. Sorry if you can hear my cat meowing. I don't know why he is. Oh, Leo. All right, exercises like gorilla walks and they act like glue to pin your shoulder blades against your rib cage, preventing the winging that often causes the clicking. Interesting. This isn't just a muscle, it's a nervous system reboot where your brain gets high fidelity feedback about where your shoulder is in space. Proprioception? Often leading to immediate locked-in feeling that lasts for hours. The gravity hack. Unlike a standard gym press where gravity pushes the weight away from your center, crawling uses your body weight to compress the humerus into the socket, which can temporarily reset minor impingements or tendon tracking issues. So there is a reason why it felt so damn good. Huh. Well, damn. What's interesting for me is that I do work out, like I do push-ups and dips, but for whatever reason, after I do them, my shoulders, they feel achy, they feel stressed, and even just keeping time under tension in that gorilla walk for like 20 minutes, which is much more time under tension, it felt so much better. Like my joints felt better, I felt more locked in. And I'm just kind of curious as to why that is. I guess it's just engaging more of these stabilizer muscles when you're kind of moving and walking in space rather than fixed movement patterns like the dips or push-ups. Is that it? Let's see. Oh, this information is for... Okay. Fixed movements like dips often jam the joints under heavy loads, while crawling movements require a constant micro-adjusting dance of muscles that pulls the joint into a safer, more stable alignment. Dynamic stabilizer overdrive. Unlike a push-up where your hands are static, gorilla walks force your rotator cuff to solve a new stability puzzle with every single reach. This constant readjustment prevents the larger muscles, like your pecs, from taking over and bullying the joint. Now, I was trying to engage my pec when I was doing it. I was trying to keep my, instead of like straight out, I was keeping them lower, which makes more pec activation. So I'm curious if I'm not supposed to be doing that. The dips are notoriously for putting the shoulders in extreme internal rotation under tension, which can pinch the tendons. Gorilla walks naturally encourage scapular retraction, pushing the floor away, which creates more physical space inside the joint. Yeah, just more stuff. Yeah, I do have a sleepy serratus, that muscle underneath. So crawling are a high dose medicine for those muscle effectively gluing your shoulder blade to your rib, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. So what was I going to ask? The pec thing. Where was that? This constant readjustment prevents the larger muscles. Like, you say that the constant readjustment prevents larger muscles like your pecs from taking over. But when I get into that gorilla walk position, I try to keep my fists slightly below my shoulder line to engage the pecs more. Is that not a good thing? It feels pretty natural. And if anything, from a primal standpoint, you would think that that is what the pec is for, is to help you kind of keep your weight up and to kind of keep you stabilized on your front through your pecs. Not pecs. Not pics, pecs. Let's see what it says. Basically, it sounds like doing this is a game changer for me. Because I hold on. Your pecs aren't just for pushing in a quadrupedal position where you're on all fours. They act as a massive stabilizers that pull your rib cage up between your shoulder blades, creating a rigid chassis for movement. When you move your fist below your shoulder line, you're using your pec major. This creates a suspension system that prevents your chest from sagging, which is exactly how large primates maintain their frame. Right. Recent biochemical models of gorillas show that their pecs are specifically evolved for arm lowering. Right. Pulling the body over the hand. So when you're here, when you're just straight out, more shoulder, but if you're over here, I mean, look at that. You can see immediately that the pecs come forward rather than just pushing away. By engaging your pecs, you're mimicking this propulsive mechanic, which is more joint friendly than grinding tension of a dip. Yep. Yeah. Another thing that I randomly think about when it comes to this, that's kind of weird, but it's true, is that like athletes that are in wheelchairs can have massive upper bodies. And it's because a lot of times they will use their hands and feet to do pretty much everything. And so I'm curious about just utilizing the upper body more. So I'm thinking how athletes that are in wheelchairs that are not able to use their legs, they oftentimes will use their upper bodies for everything because that's what's available to them. And they usually have massive upper bodies. And I'm just curious, is using your upper body more, like doing these gorilla crawls and pulling movements more often, lead to bigger muscles, not without necessarily having to do a bunch more weights and bench press and that sort of thing, period. I'm thinking because like most humans are on their feet walking around, you do get leg movement and development, or you're using your legs often, and most people don't use their upper body unless they're working out. And I'm just wondering if that's a reason why athletes in wheelchairs have such stronger upper bodies, because they are constantly using it more often just to do daily life activities. And if anyone is able to kind of build a bigger upper body by doing these kind of gorilla walks and things of that nature. I'm a wordy guy. I need to get better about that. Look, I mean, how long was that? Golly, just to ask a simple thing. Wheelchair athletes and primal movers don't just work out. They live in a state of constant high-frequency functional hypertrophy that forces the upper body to adapt to the same daily load your legs normally handle. Yes. Frequency as a growth lever. Most people train chest once or twice a week. Right. A wheelchair user or someone doing 20-minute daily crawls is providing a growth stimulus nearly every day. This is what I was getting at. This high frequency signals the body to permanently increase the muscle density and size to handle the constant demand. The leg to arm swap. Your legs are massive because they support your body weight for thousands of reps a day by walking, going upstairs, etc. By crawling, you are essentially asking your pecs and deltoids to become your new legs, which triggers a biological mandate to pack on mass for survival and efficiency. In a 20-minute gorilla walk, your muscles never truly relax, while in a bench press set that lasts 30 seconds, a long crawl creates massive metabolic stress, a primary driver for muscle growth that doesn't require lifting hundreds of pounds to achieve. Structural thickening. Unlike the inflated look of gym-only muscles, daily upper body locomotion thickens the actual tendons and connective tissue. That sounds cool to me. This is why wheelchair athletes often look dense and wide. They're just thick, like a refrigerator, because their skeletal structure has literally widened to support the constant mechanical tension. Because when you're lifting a weight, you do a set. I did a set. So you're building that not superficial, but just the muscles on top. Whereas this constant tension business of crawling, of always being under tension, creates thicker, more dense tendons because I guess the tension is much more. The unused potential factor. Most people's upper bodies are unloaded in daily life compared to their ancestors. When you start crawling, you're tapping into a dormant evolutionary capacity for the upper body to act as a primary mover, leading to rapid initial growth. That's cool. I'm curious if so before I'm going to go into the other side. So I've been talking about crawling, but the other half of this from a primal evolutionary whatever is the swinging, or is like holding on to things, like swinging from branch to branch, or in our like monkey bars, or pulling and doing active hangs where you retract the scapula, and then that works the backside of the upper body, the scapula, the biceps, and all of these kind of muscles. So if the gorilla crawl is for the front, for the pecs, the tries, the shoulders, the hanging is for the lats, the back, and the biceps. So I mean, in these two movements, you are hitting every part of the upper body, and it's amazing to me. Let's see. So wait, oh shit, that was that part, but what was I gonna ask before that? Ooh, yes, I wanted to ask about the thickening of the tendons and shit, if that matters. So is there a real benefit for those thickened tendons and connective tissues? What is the benefit of that? I gotta learn when to shut the fuck up. I get so excited and I just keep talking. The armor of the joint. Why thick is better. Ah, that's what she said. Thickened tendons and connective tissues aren't just bigger, they are structurally transformed into a high performance suspension system that protects your joints from the inside out. A thicker, stiffer tendon acts like a high tension steel cable rather than a rubber band. This allows muscle force to be transferred to the bone nearly instantaneously, making your movements feel crisp and reactive rather than mushy or unstable. I don't know if I would ever characteristically say it's mushy, but tendon hypertrophy increases the load-bearing ceiling of the tissue. When you have thicker connective tissue, a sudden awkward movement, like catching yourself during a slip, is absorbed by the tissue's mass rather than resulting in a micro tear or strain. Okay, so that connective tissue, if it's stronger and thicker, can prevent injuries when things kind of go slightly awry, which is often a issue in lifters, is because when they lift really heavy and maybe they kind of go slightly, it slips out of their hand, or they move slightly down when they shouldn't have, it's creating tension, unnecessary tension, or bad tension on the tendons, because that tendon is not built up. The muscles are built up, but the tendons aren't as built up to compensate. And so when your tendons are in a position where they need to be really strong and they're not, you get injured. Okay. Interesting. Connective tissue fascia is packed with sensory nerves. Structural thickening often comes with a retuning of these nerves, giving your brain better data on joint position. This is likely why your shoulders felt stable and quiet, no popping after your gorilla walks. Metabolic resistance connective tissue have notoriously poor blood flow compared to muscle. That's interesting. However, the remodeling process from weight bearing movement increases lubrication between tissue layers, preventing the stuck or dry feeling that causes the chronic achiness. Thicker tendons are better at capturing and releasing free energy. Think of it like, wait, what? Thicker tendons are better at capturing and releasing free energy? Think of it like a higher quality spring. You can sustain movement like your 20-minute crawl with less muscular effort because the connective tissue is doing more of the mechanical work. That's interesting. Okay. Well, all right. So the other thing I want to do is get into the pulling, the other side. Okay, so if the gorilla walks or crawls is more of the front part of the chain and then also engaging the serratus, the shoulders, the tris, the pecs, what would be the equivalent on the back end? I'm guessing it would be kind of like swinging or hanging or active hangs to build a thicker back base and biceps. Would that be correct? Question mark. It doesn't actually answer my question. I think I might need to update this research model to just also talk to me too. It just gives like a research synopsis all the way through. The pull chain counterpart. So while crawling uses the closed chain compression to stabilize the front, hanging and swinging provides the closed chain traction, which decompresses the spine while thickening the massive pulling muscles of the back. When you hang or swing, you are using your body weight to pull the joint surfaces apart slightly. This triggers a different kind of connective tissue thickening, one focused on tensile strength, resisting being pulled apart rather than the compressive strength you get from the gorilla walks. Active hangs pull your shoulder blades down while hanging, targets the lower trapezius and lats. If y'all don't know it, here, I'll show you that real quick. Lower traps. That's like at the middle of the back, I'm pretty sure. Oh, okay, so it's this area. It's all right in here. Yeah, the lower trapezius. It's this shit. This is all the lower. Damn, that's a lot. Middle trap. My middle traps and upper are huge because I've been a computer guy for so long that I've gotten into bad habits. And this is why I'm doing all this, is because I'm trying to get back to how we're supposed to be here. But okay, yeah, lower traps. Cool. Oops. This provides the backside anchor for your shoulder blades, creating a 360-degree muscular corset that keeps the joints perfectly centered. Humans have mobile shoulders specifically because our ancestors specialized in brachiation, the swinging, branch to branch type thing. Hanging taps into this evolutionary blueprint, stimulating the brachialis, like this muscle on the forearms. Great. I think it's like right here. Ah, damn it. I got to look it up now. Where's the damn brachialis? Brachialis muscle. It's like the forearm thing, right? Okay, it's all that. Oh, it's at the top of the bicep. Okay. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Right in there. Okay. Hanging taps into this, blah, blah, stimulating the brachialis the way static curls never do because the muscles are firing to protect the integrity of the shoulder socket. There's a neurological phenomenon where a death grip on a bar automatically sends a signal to the rotator cuff to prime the load. This irradiation makes hanging one of the most effective ways to heal rotator cuff issues and build a dense upper back without the spinal load of a heavy row. A heavy row being one of those things you bend over and do a row like that. It's just, and it's all way on your spine because if you're leaning forward and you're holding 100 pounds, that shit is all on your back, creating so much tension on your spine. And doing these kinds of things, the primal things, it appears to be like it's saying you should get stronger tendons, stronger connective tissues, and effective ways to pretty much heal your shoulders and any upper body issues that you have. Moving through a hanging monkey bar pattern provides a dynamic stretch to the fascia of the lats and triceps. This flosses the nerves and tissues that often get tight from sitting or bench pressing, which can resolve that stiff feeling in the back of the shoulder. So much stuff, man. I just find it so cool. I don't know why. I feel like it's cool to think that we came from, different animals, and the evolution is the mechanism through which that happened. And this is coming from someone who is spiritual. I'm not going to go down an entire rabbit hole, but real quick, I think evolution could be the work of God. It is, like all this stuff and all the evidence and science. This is just looking at the inner workings of the universe, the source, and its creation. And I just don't think you need to separate the two as two different things. Often in these times, we think of science as being the antithesis or the opposing force to science. God being the opposing force to science. And I just don't think you need to separate the two. I think science is the examination of God's creation. And I just think it's so fun to pretend and act like your ancestors. And it's just a fun idea for me. And if it can help your shoulder and make you stronger and it feels good and you get to be outside for a bit, hell, that's good enough for me. So, I'm going to ask because I'm going to go do this. It's 10:30. I need to get to work here pretty quick, but I want to do a workout, not a workout, but like a training thing on this. Go in the garage, do some crawls, do some hanging stuff on the pull-up bar. Let me just ask for a workout. So can you give me a 20-minute kind of workout or exercise that does both the kind of gorilla walks, getting used to the front muscles of the upper body, as well as the kind of hanging and back brachialis bicep muscles into a kind of workout or rhythm flow to strengthen all these muscles of what we're talking about here. One of these days I will be succinct and to the point. Today will not be that day. All right. Now, this routine alternates between the compression, the crawling, and the traction, hanging, to build a symmetrical armor-plated upper body while keeping your joints lubricated. So set a timer for 20 minutes, and this is something you can try too. That's what I'm going to do here in a second. You will spend 2 minutes on the floor, front chain, followed by 1 minute on the bar, back chain, with the remaining time used for slow, active recovery transitions. So phase A, the gorilla ground game, move in a low crouch using your fists and elbows as you described. Focus on pushing the floor away to keep your shoulder blades wide and your pecs engaged as the suspension system. Now phase B, the active hang and sway. Find a bar and perform an active hang. Don't just dead hang. Pull your shoulder blades down and back. So instead of just being like this, where your shoulders fall up, pull them back. See the difference? Your shoulders are way up here. They're up by your ears, and then pull them back. And that's doing that active hang. That's retracting the scapula, engaging all those back muscles, keeping you in proper alignment. That's why it's saying dead hang. Dead hang is when you do let your shoulder blades just up. Keep them down. Add a gentle side to side sway to engage the lats and floss the connective tissue. What does it mean by floss? I'm going to have to ask that before I'm done here. If you have access to monkey bars, I do at the park. I might have to go up to the park real quick. If you have access to a monkey bar or a long pull-up bar, replace the static hang with a hand-over-hand lateral traversal. This mimics the pulling version of the gorilla walk and builds massive forearm and brachialis density. Volume over intensity. The goal isn't to go until failure, but to maintain perfect tension where you're just staying in proper form. If your shoulders start to shrug toward your ears, going up, or your pecs give out, take a 30-second break. This is about teaching the stabilizers to stay on for the duration. Yeah, you're not trying to, you know, push, push, push. This is different. This is an idea just making sure you're staying in proper form. And if it gets too tired, that means we're not there yet. Take a break. We want to make sure we're staying in the proper alignment. That's what this is all about. Spend the final 2 minutes of the 20-minute block doing a bear to cobra transition, alternating between a piking stretch and a floor supported chest opener to integrate the floor front and back chains into one cohesive unit. What the bear? I think I know what this is, but I need to check. Let's check. Come on. Could have just asked in the chat, huh? Is an advanced full body movement commonly what? Combines core stability. What do you do? The bear pose. So starting a plank, so with hands on stationary platform, toes on the carriage, and knees pulled over the transition while the bear. All right, I don't. It doesn't fucking matter. Can we have a video real quick? It's fine. I'm skipping the bear to cobra transition right now. I'm just gonna do this. Sorry about not explaining it well. Yeah. All right. Yep. So I'm going to go try that out. Something fun to do. Wow, this is 30 minutes. Okay. Yeah, that's it. The idea is basically to let me sum up here. Regular working out is intense. It's a lot. You're moving your joints in fixed positions. This may not be ideal for joint health long term. I started this idea because I was last night doing those crawls while watching The Wire. My shoulders felt so much better. There's truth that these exercises lubricate the joints and keep things in proper alignment because they're having to dance. They're having to move a lot more in space, which engages all those stabilizers in a much more natural way that our ancestors probably did. And given the fact that most of us are not really using our upper bodies, we can kind of strengthen these connective tissues, these tendons, lubricating the joints, making us feel better while also possibly building some muscle because we are engaging using our upper body the way we normally do our lower body through walking and those kinds of things. So you can build muscle, strengthen tendons, get some exercise, do movement patterns that are more natural to our biology and our evolution. To me, that's fun. It's fun to play around, to kind of pretend like you're a monkey or something, to go back to our roots. I don't know. To me, that's just cool. And if it can help my shoulders feel better, not pop as much, you better believe I'm going to do that shit. But all right, that is enough for now. See y'all next time.